Hey film fans, my name is David. This is Film Collector Archive, and today we will be discussing 5 of my favorite releases of 2023. It's no surprise that 2023 brought us some amazing releases, and today I just wanted to highlight 5 of those. This is not going to be an exhaustive, best of the year. There were a ton of great releases, but I just wanted to narrow this down to 5 releases that I am so excited to have added to my collection, and 5 releases that I think everybody should know about from the year. Some of these are more mainstream releases, and there's a couple in here that are a lot more obscure and ones that I hope a lot of people are able to discover. Through hearing it on this video or otherwise. I really want to help shine the light on some of these more obscure releases. So we've got a couple or 4 labels that are represented here. One label I have 2 releases from. I could have gone even more, but let's go ahead, and the last one that I'll do will be kind of my favorite release of the year. I guess I'll go ahead and tag it as favorite release of the year, but let's start out on a really strong note. This one could have easily been the release of the year. This is a big upgrade overall from the previous release from Criterion, which was a great release, but this is a sturdy upgrade from the Criterion Bruce Lee release. This is the Bruce Lee at Golden Harvest release from none other than Arrow Video. This is an absolute behemoth. The design on this is just absolutely stellar. There's a very big, I'll just kind of pull this out here, really big hardbound book here. Just really well made, as is expected from Arrow Video. Now so this is the 4K release, and you can see here, and I love the design on this, just kind of this library of films. The only one in here that is not a 4K release is Enter the Dragon, and if you can see, sorry, I'll try and it's the only one on there that doesn't have the Arrow Video logo at the top here. We have the Warner Brothers logo there for Enter the Dragon. But just to give you an idea of how each of these are done, so this is Enter the Dragon. We have some nice artwork there, and they're in these individual cardboard books, or however you want to, digipacks, A lot of the a lot of the indicator releases these days are coming with this kind of style of packaging, but really dig it. I mean, so you've got the Big Boss, you get the Mandarin cut of the Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, Game of Death, the alternate versions, which I haven't had the opportunity to dive in heavy on this set, and so I know there's just an embarrassment of riches here to get into. Game of Death bonus disc, Game of Death, Game of Death 2, Tower of Death, and then Bruce Lee, The Man and the Legend, as well as The Legend. So those are documentaries, and then you get that beautiful hardbound book. And really beautiful packaging. I did originally get the Arrow Video the store exclusive, and you can go back and watch that video. My copy was just so badly damaged, and I ended up getting this from Orbit DVD. So thanks again to Orbit DVD for shipping me a copy that was in absolutely perfect condition. But any Bruce Lee fans out there, if you have the Criterion edition, again, great release from Criterion, but I think this is a clear upgrade over that. There is more content here, as well as the upgrade from Blu Ray to 4K. So, if you're on the fence about upgrading, Again, I haven't been able to get through this set, you know, from top to bottom, but I think this is an easy recommendation for an upgrade. And if you're like me, I try not to double dip, or I do very, very little double dipping in my collection. Usually I'll just have one copy of a film or a box set in my collection. And so I personally decided to let my Criterion edition go, and I went with the Arrow Video edition. That might be controversial to some collectors. I don't know, because I know there's extras and stuff that differ between, but I'm very happy with just the Arrow Video release here. So absolutely beautiful job by Arrow Video, you know, honoring the legacy of Bruce Lee with this gorgeous box set. Okay, next up I'm going to go with a release from Studio Canal. Now, they've done this Vintage Classics series, which has been really, really great. I have a few editions in my collection from that line. And I'm excited to see what they release down the line. Some of them are more standard, just kind of slipcover editions. Some of them are full-on, you know, box set kind of event release, you know, type releases. And this was definitely one of them. I'm sure this is on a lot of people's list as release of the year. This is a film that I've just seen for the first time this year, and I was really blown away. I loved it. And then decided to get the Studio Canal edition. I think there's still a few copies floating around on this particular edition, but this is The Wicker Man. Christopher Lee, absolute classic. This is a very, very unsettling film, and one that I would recommend to anybody that hasn't seen this. 100% I would recommend watching this. This is a Robin Hardy film, and from 1973. And as you can see, this is the kind of the box set release from Studio Canal. Now, there were a few variations on steelbook releases as well. So this is not, you know, your only option, even with Studio Canal. And then there was, I believe, a Best Buy exclusive, which of course this year, 2024, those are going to be going away as Best Buy moves away from physical media, but are offering that in their stores, or online for that matter. But yeah, here's the back of the box, and then this is just a beautiful, so this latch comes up, and this is this beautiful pop-up book kind of style presentation here. And then, you know, there's all the goodness inside there. And you can watch unboxing videos, you know, to see the, you know, what's included here in this set. But yeah, one of my favorite, I don't know if I want to call it a discovery, because I've always been aware of the film, but I've just never seen it until this year. But one of my favorite discoveries of the year, first time watches of the year. And yeah, again, there are a few copies, I think, still floating around at time of filming this video. So if you want this edition, or, you know, any of the editions, but the 4K from Studio Canal, just a great offering from them. And again, this is the, see if I can get that to focus. This is the Vintage Classics line. So this is a line from Studio Canal, and they've just been doing stellar work with that. And you get the final cut, but there's, let's see, Blu Ray. So this is a dual format, but there's going to be a lot of the special features on the Blu Ray disc. But you do get the final cut, director's cut, and theatrical cut. And then you also get an audio disc, the Wicker Man EP by Katie J. Pearson and Friends. So just a really loaded release here. You get interviews and you know, lots of supplements included here. So a high recommendation from me on this set. Great film. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section on any of these films or, you know, sets that I'm covering. But this was an absolute winner from 2023. Okay, so next up, so this is the label that I have two box sets to feature here in my list, and I had such a hard time picking. I could have gone with more. I could have done my 5 favorite releases from just this label, but this is the Great Indicator series from Powerhouse Films. I narrowed this down to, first up here, we'll go with Mexico Macabre. Gothic cinema has been something that I've been exploring a lot this past year, and the Mexico Macabre set from Indicator is an absolute treat. So these are obviously Mexican Gothic horror films. We have Black Pit of Dr. M, The Witch's Mirror, The Brainiac, and The Curse of the Crying Woman. And the Brainiac here we have featured on the cover. Go ahead and take the belly band off there, but really kind of a crazy looking cover here. And as always, there's just a plethora of supplements included here. And then in the set here, you get the films individually in that, again, that cardboard digipack presentation, and then you get a really, really nice book, which if you've collected or been exposed to Indicator whatsoever, you know their books are the stuff of legend. They are just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, 4 films included here. And in terms of Gothic cinema this year, this was definitely my favorite set or kind of exposure to that type of film. I really wanted to like the Gothic sets coming from not Vinegar Syndrome, but Severin, and unfortunately it just didn't land with me. The first volume really just didn't land with me, and so unfortunately I won't be continuing down the path of those sets, but kind of a bummer for me. One of my bigger, I would say letdowns of the year, but I want to make a note that the set is really well put together, and I'm just remembering the name of it, Danza Macabre. Volume 1 was the box set that I watched through. Now they have Volume 2. Looks like that's going to be a continuing series. Really wanted to like that. The box set itself and the supplements included, just the overall presentation is absolutely wonderful. But the films and the set overall just unfortunately was not for me. But Mexico Macabre, I can give a hearty recommendation on both the presentation and the films themselves. I had an absolute blast with this set. Now the other collection or box set from Indicator that I want to feature here was, I'm going to say, my favorite discovery of the year, because it is so bizarre in the best way possible. Absolutely loved every minute of my time with this set. In fact, I got a very large hardbound book, kind of a companion piece, and this is none other than the From Hollywood to Heaven, the Lost and Saved films of the Ormond family. This gets my absolute highest recommendation, although I will make a note on this set, this is definitely not going to be for everyone. These are really bizarre films, and there's a really interesting backstory to the Ormond family. I'm not going to go in depth on what that is here on this video, but this is a really interesting story. And I did get the companion book. It's back on my shelf behind me here. A really great companion book from Fab Press. They always do a really great job. And it is really exhaustive in its research on this subject, and what's presented there is just really key. Now, this is presented by Nicholas Winding Refn. Yes, the director of Drive. Now, and I want to remember trying to remember the author's name. Let me see. Because he authored this book, and also, Jimmy McDonough. He did the book with from Fab Press, and then he also did this book for Indicator. And so it's not like this is just a small excerpt from the larger book. He did some original pieces for Indicator, which I thought was really, really cool. So you get that book, and then you get, you know, some cards, and then, you know, obviously the films themselves in this really, really great box set release. And it's, yeah, I don't want I don't want to get into it too much, the story around these films, but it's just so interesting and just a very eclectic group of films here, because the range that I guess that they show, you know, they're very independent, they're low budget, but it's just so interesting, the range of films that are in here, and just the story about how they came to be produced, and why they took, why the Ormond family kind of took the turn that they did in the types of films that they were making. So I hope to whet your appetite a little bit, maybe get you interested in checking out this set, and, you know, maybe looking at the story. But I would say definitely do your research before making a purchase. But for me personally, this was almost my favorite release of the year. It's just that good. It's that interesting. It just really, really caught my attention, and you know, so happy to have this in the collection via this beautiful release from Indicator. Okay, now we have come to the last title that I'm going to present here. And again, I know there's a lot of releases that I've not talked about on this video. This is just a few that kind of, you know, changed my movie-going life this year, my film collecting life this year. And this is what I would label as my release of the year. It's just such a stunning box set from a label that is just continually, you know, moving the needle forward on physical media, what's possible with these amazing limited edition releases. And it's a 4K upgrade of one of my favorite films of all time. This is from Second Sight, and is none other than the 1974 classic from Tobe Hooper, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is a film that needs no introduction, but really, you know, kind of a proto-slasher, but, you know, came after, you know, obviously Psycho 1960. You had, you know, films like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas, some of these more proto-slashers, and then you had Halloween that came out in 1978, and then of course the 80s just ran away with the slasher genre, or subgenre, horror subgenre. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a very important film to me in my, you know, my film journey. I remember seeing this for the first time and just being absolutely blown away. I mean, it was many, many years ago that I saw this for the first time. You know, I was probably a teenager, maybe on the younger side of my teenage years. I was, you know, kind of early in my film education and trying to expose myself to some of the classics. And this one left an absolute mark on me, and was one of those films that planted the seed of, you know, of what a horror fan I've become now. You know, right over here, I've got a blanket on my movie watching chair there from, you know, the original poster art for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And so obviously, you know, it's one that I hold in high regard. But this 4K UHD box set from Second Sight is just incredible. There were multiple releases. You know, this comes from the UK. There were releases here in the States. You get some 4K Steelbook options. But for me, it was just no question on which edition I was going to go for. Now, the restoration, the presentation here is absolutely stellar. I know there's a little bit of a difference in presentation from the US releases, or, you know, between this and the US release. And I think the US release, from reviews that I've seen and kind of what I've read, I haven't seen those discs or those presentations of the film, but from what I hear, those are a little bit more, you know, kind of a grindhouse aesthetic, where this is maybe a little bit more cleaned up. I thought this looked spectacular. And again, for me, double dipping, I don't feel any need to go outside of this and get the other editions. There's some beautiful artwork on those steelbook releases as well. This is the, from what I understand, the UK VHS release artwork is what we have featured here. And I love it. I mean, we have Leatherface here front and center. And just really, really dig this artwork. And as you can see, I mean, this is a nice thick box set. And this is, and that's the other thing. I mean, not only is this release absolutely stacked with supplements, it took me days to get through, you know, of really concentrated effort, several days to get through all of the supplements that are included here. But this is my favorite book included in a release this year as well. It is just absolutely stacked, and you have this really, really cool artwork, kind of this design, this art direction through this set is really, really awesome. I mean, you can see for yourself here, just such a thick book. And let's see, I know we come in over, or just almost 200 pages. So this in and of itself, by itself, is such an amazing collector's item. And then it also came with, you know, these art cards. And so I love, I mean, this is, sorry, hit the microphone there. This is just such a cool set of art cards that are included here. And oops, didn't get all of them. There's that, and then that as well. Yeah, I mean, just from top to bottom, this set was just an incredible education on one of my favorite films. And I can't imagine, you know, someone who's never seen this film or never seen, you know, of course, any of the extras over the years. I mean, this really compiles together what I think is the best release this film will ever receive. I don't see it ever getting better than this. I think this is the top of the mountain. This is the pinnacle for the presentation that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre will ever see, both in presentation of the film itself and of the supplements, you know, the hardbound book. I just don't think it's ever going to get better than this. And for those reasons, this is my personal favorite release of 2023, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So again, just to review, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre, From Hollywood to Heaven from Indicator, Mexico Macabre, also from Indicator, The Wicker Man 4K from Studio Canal, and finally the behemoth, beautiful set from Arrow Video for Bruce Lee at Golden Harvest. I would love to know in the comments, of course, what some of your favorites of 2023 are. Obviously, my selections here are more of the box set releases. There are a ton of other films that I could bring up here and talk about, releases that came out during the year. We've already got some amazing announcements for 2024. Probably, if I had to say my most anticipated release, I would have to say the upcoming 4K release of probably The Hitcher from Second Sight, the 4K release that we have coming from Second Sight. That's probably the biggest thing on my radar. But there's been some amazing announcements made, stuff that I've got on my, I keep a note in Evernote, my release calendar. And, you know, it's already stacking up for this first few months of the year with some really exciting stuff. So let me know your favorites of 2023. Also, let me know your favorite or maybe most anticipated release for this upcoming year. I would love to know what those are. And if you are new to this channel and you like talking film and film collecting, if you like watching unboxing videos, we do a lot of those on this channel. I invite you to hit the subscribe button. Also the like button or the thumbs up icon, and also the bell icon, as that will notify you when I upload new videos in the future. And until next time, I hope you're able to watch a lot of great films.